Jordan Love had a little bit of a rough stretch. People were ready to give up on him and then bury him the past few games. And he had a couple games where he had multiple turnovers, and it was the Raiders game that was really just a bad one that was sticking in people's mind. But if you look at the stats, he has pretty much exactly the same amount of yards as Aaron Rodgers had, and he has the exact same amount of touchdowns that Aaron Rodgers had at this point in Aaron Rodgers' rookie year. And then Jordan Love has that at the same point in the season that Aaron Rodgers had. So
same record too.
Yeah, same record too. Does this give you a little bit of hope for Jordan Love going forward for the future?
Yeah, it's interesting. When it comes time to negotiate his contract, I don't think they pick up his 5th-year option. What they can do is maybe sign him to like a Geno Smith level deal, maybe a little less money, but give him a couple more years. Because you've seen flashes of it. He can move. When he does have the ball sling at the best rate, you still have some nice receivers on that team. You have Romeo Doubs, who's been playing good football, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, when he's on the field, has been playing well. So they have a nice little core there. Luke Musgrave also playing really good football. So I think you should give him another year. And then maybe if you want to draft a quarterback in the later rounds, you can. But I think he's shown that he can be that guy. This is really his rookie season. The problem is that he's entering basically his final year of his contract, and they got to figure out whether to keep him or not. I think they should.
Yeah. Do you think he's shown more than Daniel Jones has in his first 4 years of his career than Jordan Love has shown in his first 11 games starting for the Green Bay Packers?
Yes, I think that Jordan Love has shown that he can throw. So he's beaten Daniel Jones in that avenue, and he can move, and I think he's a modern day quarterback. So, give him another year. We always say like rookie mistakes are a thing, and his first 5 games, he played pretty poorly, missed a lot of open balls, but when he's on his game, he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, and the Green Bay Packers are very much alive in the playoff race, and they have some games coming up, and we'll break down what exactly their schedule is when we preview the playoff race coming up here. But I do think the Packers do have a chance to make the playoffs. Their defense is formidable. I mean, they still have good players all over the field, and I think they really are just another really good wide receiver away from being an elite team. And I think the market is going to really tell what they'll be able to offer Jordan Love, because I don't think you're going to see anyone offering him like $200 million. So if it is in like that $140 to $180 million contract, maybe over 4 or 5 years, then you could definitely sign Jordan Love. Or you could see Jordan Love maybe bet on himself, test the market a little bit. So do you think he'll kind of explore those options in free agency, or the Packers are going to lock him up long term?
If I'm them, like Geno Smith's contract is 3 years, $100 million. Same with Jimmy Garoppolo. So I think that a contract like that would be formidable, where he's paying, I think $30 million for Jordan Love is fair to kind of see what you have with him. Maybe, 60 to 70% guaranteed. So he has that financial security, and he also has that long-term comfort with the Packers. They know that, all right, they're going to spend at least next year on him. The year after, they can kind of feel things out and see if things begin to formulate for him, because he's shown those flashes, but I wouldn't go out and pay $140 million for him yet. Maybe give him like a 2-year deal. Kind of like, I also kind of compare Deontay Johnson's deal when he signed back in the day. I think it was 2 years, $48 million or something along those lines. Kind of a prove it deal where they can get out of the contract if they have to, but give him another year, because he's shown flashes. This is a great game that he played. Yeah,
he's definitely shown flashes, because there are moments where you look at Jordan Love and you see some of the throws that he was making in this game, fitting the ball in between double coverage, getting the ball downfield. And really early in the season, he was going through some growing pains, going through some rookie mistakes, and they seem like they're really kind of holding back the reins for him in September. It was a lot of underneath stuff. They weren't trying to open up the playbook. And as they did try and push the ball down the field, open up the playbook for him, that's where you start to see him make some of those mistakes. But with that, it just comes under reps, because as much as you go through training camp and you have all of those reps in practice, it's not going to be the same as being in game. So the fact that people are just ready to jump off the ship with him yet, I wouldn't go there. I'm not at the point where Colin Cowherd is just like, no, Jordan Love sucks. Time to get off of him. He's missing throws. It's like, no, you need those times in the game to be able to react and then learn from those moments. And it seems like he was able to take a step back, evaluate some of those turnovers. And then Matt LaFleur has honestly done a pretty good job with him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think they've been able to implement him, kind of ease him into the playbook. And now it looks like the playbook's pretty open up at this point. You see him making those deep bombs to the players like Jaden Reed, like I mentioned, Luke Musgrave getting involved as well. So I think what they'll do in the draft is really focus on the defensive side of the ball, because if they can get a top 10 defense on that team, then that team is definitely a playoff team.
Yeah, and one thing we do know about the Green Bay Packers is they love drafting defenders. So that's something Green Bay typically drafts defenders first before they go to skill positions, but they are really good at drafting second-round wide receivers. We've seen them hit on Jordy Nelson. We've seen them hit on Greg Jennings before. We've seen them hit on Devontae Adams. We've seen them hit now on Christian Watson if he can stay healthy. Christian Watson finally is showing the past few weeks he's starting to get healthy. He's starting to get back into the offense, and he's really that make or break player. Him and Treylon Burks were two wide receivers last year that were rookies in and out of the lineup and kind of hurt. But honestly, Christian Watson looked really good with Aaron Rodgers last year. So I think give him another season with the Green Bay Packers, and then you can make a playoff push. So I really want to see Jordan Love in those must-win games when he has to lead them down the field. But they did a really good job in Pittsburgh when it looked like they were going to blow out. They at least came back, made it a game. And then in that Chargers game, I get it's the Chargers, but at home, playing up against a tough team that's been a perennial playoff contender in the AFC, they did a good job, especially you have Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack coming under pressure and then under fire. He was pretty good against the Detroit Lions, just making sure he didn't turn the ball over, he didn't blow the game, and he let that defense kind of take control, hand the ball off to AJ Dillon. And then Aaron Jones is currently hurt right now. I could see him being a piece you maybe move in the offseason. Aaron Jones is getting a little bit older now, so maybe a team that's running back needy and they're ready to contend right now. Maybe Buffalo makes a play for him next year, but that's also a guy you could probably move for some draft capital and reboot that team. But as far as the Packers, you got blown out at home versus the Detroit Lions this time, so they did a good job about reevaluating what went wrong in that game and the fact that they came out here, got 3 fumbles, stripped Jared Goff, and they didn't seem like the moment was too big for them on Thanksgiving. I thought the Packers did a really good job regrouping and then retooling, and then heading into November and December, they put themselves in a position to compete for a playoff spot.